burned her.
Ladies.
I'm like, thank God you married him because his initials are scarred in your vagina.
You know, shaping is one thing, but it's not a topiary garden, for Christ's sakes.
A what?
Topiary garden.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
But isn't that a commercial that they make
It
it
is?
a
Yes.
I mean, area there?
You don't need stencils, goddammit.
Oh my God, I'm so going to do that. I'm going to do
Hey,
something
they use
ridiculous
stencils
like
at the
that.
waxing place.
Good for them.
Just saying.
I still want to get our assholes bleached and our vaginas
I have a
bejeweled.
question. Why is bleaching your asshole just not called changing your ringtone?
All right, we should say that for boudoir.
Yes.
All right, so those were the ridiculous products. I don't. The only thing is I don't understand why they have. Oh, go ahead.
Why would you have vaginas on your nails? Like, you already have one.
And
and the manicure.
Whose vagina are they? Like, do you go through a book and say, I want this one on my right finger, or I want this one, you know? And who gets your pointer finger?
Or do you get to pick your ethnicity?
Right.
Yeah. White, Caucasian, Italian, African American. I'd like a little Asian on this one.
Make sure it's nice.
Do you
and
get to
yellow.
pick whether it has a hood or not?
I mean, I don't know.
Put a piercing in there too?
Yep, there you go.
I put a little. Oh my God!
little diamond right
I
in the
am
butt.
so taking you to get a pedicure and a manicure, and you're getting vagina nails. And we are going to all the little Asian places before they say they're going to be like, you want kitty cat? No, I don't want a kitty cat.
Not a kitty cat. A vagina.
It's called a modesty sock, and yet it fits over everything. If you
And
watch,
that's what they use during that scene.
I've been rewatching Friends, and do you remember when Phoebe makes the sock bunny? I think I'm going to make a sock bunny for Sauce's stuff,
There
and they
you
can
go.
put it on.
You wanna know something
I'm going to
funny?
market it, and he can be my model.
all right, Jason Momoa played Khal Drogo on Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Okay,
Him and-
never seen it.
Yeah.
I know. I'm the
Him
1%
and his
that hasn't
on-screen
seen it.
wife kind of had they had an off-screen, funny, because the very first time he met her, they knew of each other already. He goes, "Wifey!" and tackles her. Mind you, Emilia Clarke is
She's
5 feet tall.
Okay.
super tiny.
He's 6'6" Samoan, built like a fucking
Okay,
line.
the guy-
Like a brick shit house,
Okay,
as my
have you
mom
seen-
would say.
His
She's
bodyguards
built
look
like a brick shit house, Mia.
He's playing Aquaman in the new Justice League movie.
Okay, his bodyguards look like mini bosses
Yes.
compared to him. Okay.
Yes.
He tackles her. Now, the very first sex scene they had to have, they of course, they give you a color matching sock, so it matches their skin so you don't quite see anything.
Right.
He bought another one, bright pink with smiley googly eyes on it for her.
That's
And they
awesome.
had to stop shooting for an hour and a half till she could stop laughing her ass off.
That's so awesome. You know what I do like that they do have for men? I take that back. They do have ridiculous things for men. They have
There you
the
go.
man grenade bath
Because,
blaster.
a bath bomb is not...
No.
handy.
Excuse me, Sauce just ordered a whole box of bath bombs. I'm like,
Hey,
No.
bath bombs are fine, guys. I mean,
oh
coming from a guy
no,
with a
because Sauce lives with Big Papa.
Yeah.
And so I literally called up Electric and I was like, Big Papa and I are taking Sauce's man card. And she's like, why? I'm like, he bought bath bombs. And like, it's not bad enough. He bought a variety pack.
Coming from a guy who has a foobarred knee, every once in a while, I need to soak my knee. So,
Yeah.
a bath is warranted. And you know what? I kind of want it to smell good. I'd like basically a mini hot tub. Come on.
I just wondered if he bought them so he could like put them under his balls because they fizzle.
Yeah, they
I'm
do,
like,
they
is
do.
this really like a treat for you?
I gotta
No, he
tell
just
you.
He's like, it's for, because we take baths and sing
Yeah.
duets. He's like, it's for us. And I'm like, don't bring me into losing your man card.
I gotta say, that...
No, he doesn't. He doesn't lose it, especially if he's doing it for you, because
Yes.
the ladies are
Good, no,
always
he's
the
blaming
exception.
me. He's blaming me.
Okay,
Go ahead.
well, I'm going to tell you this much right now. My son loves a bath with
He
bath
does.
bombs. He does. He smells them all and picks out his favorite, and he puts it in the tub, and he...
That's why him and Maddie are best friends. She is obsessed with bath bombs.
He loves it. He loves it. He's like, it just smells so pretty. He's like, and I smell so good afterwards.
Aw, I
feel
love
pretty.
him.
Oh, so
Yes.
pretty.
Yeah, well, my significant other tells me how I'm raising a wussy, so...
That's okay. Who cares?
But you know what?
If Joe wanted bath bombs, done.
He really loves...
Oh my, okay.
So here's the
The lace man
lace.
outfit.
The
Yes.
lace man. Okay, send me
lace
this
bomb.
picture. Text it to me. The lace man outfit. I feel like, okay, She is gonna do the boob holder. She's getting vagina nails. I'm gonna do the 70s porn bush with sparkle. Michael is about to get a lacy man's outfit.
Yes.
What color would you like in the pastel spectrum?
I like the yellow.
Nope, black.
Periwinkle.
No, it has to be one of the Easter colors that's offered.
I was thinking you could try those.
Oh, yes.
What is that? Oh my god. No, I have to. Okay.
These are leggings. These are leggings with two men on their knees. Look like they're holding.
And
up
they're
their
holding
ass.
up each butt cheek. You know what's funny is I would get that, but it would be like a construction crew on each side, and they'd be like falling over as the butt cheek kills
Like
them.
his whole head is smushed up underneath that butt cheek.
So funny.
Mari as ever, the table flipping Italian.
Yes.
That's right.
I have no ass,
right.
so they'd be like with one little finger.
Well,
Hers would. What the shit is that?
The hug me jacket.
The hug me jack. Okay, send me that. Post those on
We
BB
will have that
Twitter.
posted.
Yeah.
We'll
Oh my
post
god,
those
that's
on
so funny. Okay, so on to other topics. Other than ridiculous things. Oh yeah, I've seen these. The bodysuits, the hairy chest swimwear.
Yeah.
By the way, this is not like a ridiculous fad, but if you are of a certain ethnicity, whether it be white, Hispanic, African American, please don't buy leggings that are the same color as your skin color. It makes me feel like you don't have pants on. It's very scary for me, okay?
So I shouldn't wear yellow
I
ones?
was... No, actually, I want to see you in a pair of yellow leggings. I was in Walmart yesterday, and I'm at, like, the self-checkout, and I'm, like, waiting in line, and the woman in front of me... Yes, the cowboy boot sandals, I've seen those.
Nope.
The woman in front of me is in flesh-colored leggings, and let's just say her butt was hungry because it was eating her pants, and I'm like... Oh my god. And the worst part is I turn because I like really like when my son is there, I'm like, oh my god, look at this. And I like turn and I'm like, oh, I don't know you. I'm by myself. Damn it.
Damn it.
It was
I
like,
don't know if I'd rather
the
see
greatest
someone...
and worst thing. And I was so sad because I didn't have my phone.
Oh, yeah, one of those
person.
moments. I don't know if I'd rather see someone wearing flesh-colored leggings or see-through plastic jeans, considering what some people wear underneath their clothes.
oh my.
Okay, on those see-through plastic jeans, I once dressed up as as Catwoman, okay? Mm-hmm. And it was pleather. Why the F would you ever wear plastic pants on purpose? I was so hot.
Oh, yeah.
And mine was like breathable because it was pleather. Mm-hmm. Like, and it had like little holes in the side so I could, not die.
Yes.
Why the fuck would you ever wear plastic pants?
I don't know. Sweat your ass off?
Women be crazy. I mean, y'all invented high heels. Actually, no, that's a lie.
That's not
Butchers invented high heels back in the early 1700s so they wouldn't walk with blood.
Sweet. All right. So you're going to get a lace outfit or plastic pants, plastic see-through pants. You can choose later. And the lace outfit has to be in one of the lovely pastel colors that they offered.
Nope.
And
Green, then, and I'm wearing black underneath it.
we were hoping you were wearing nothing underneath it, but if you must be a party pooper.
All right, fine.
All
I can roll
right. Next thing that we were going to talk about, so we talked about ridiculous trends. Vintage.
Yes.
You wanted to bring up about the drink thing for the bar, so I'll let you talk about that.
Well, we were talking about, with this, when you're starting to attract men that are not the most desirable, or you go out on a date. And right now, I mean, we all know that the dating scene is pretty heavy with, internet dating sites and things like that. And, one of those things that I happen to remember is, and I wish that we saw this because I don't ever see it here where I live. But I, so that whole thing of a poster up in the women's bathroom where it allows you to, the bar is educated on an angel drink or if asking for an Angela, which alerts them to help you when you feel like you're in a situation you don't want to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I think that's something that should be universal. The angel drink or the Angela is universal.
Yeah.
But there are other options.
And by universal, explain what that angel or that Angela drink means so that people understand. Because they're like, okay, I go to the bar, I order an Angela or an angel. Why would I do that?
So what it is it offers an escape route for women that are on a bad date with kind of like a creep or someone you really aren't connecting with, or you feel like you're in danger.
Highly
And
functioning sociopath.
Yep, exactly. I mean, and like, because Tinder, Plenty of Fish, Bumble, I mean, these are sites that are so heavily populated right now with the singles. Even, I hate to say it, unfortunately, even when you get into Christian mingling or some of those other sites that are supposed to be eHarmony and et cetera, you really don't know what's going to happen when you get to that place. And so these things, that kind of making those connections
And
can be unsafe.
yeah.
And, if you're smart, you always make sure you're in a public place for that first meeting or the first couple of them. But there are times where it isn't a good situation. And so I know that there's a poster campaign out in, like, the United Kingdom,
Found it.
right, where
No,
you
where to even get all the descriptions.
it gives you a way out. The posters are hung up in the women's bathrooms, and it gives you a way out when you find yourself feeling awkward or threatened or on a bad date that you just want to ask for help without alerting that date you're with. And so you can walk up to the bar and say, hi, I'm Angela, or ask for
An
an
angel
angel
shot.
drink, an angel shot, and at that point, the bar is alerted to letting you know, to knowing that you need help.
Well, and what the bar will do is it'll actually call a cab.
Yeah, they have different descriptors. It's like if you order an angel shot neat, the bartender will arrange for you to be escorted to your car.
Right.
If you order one with ice, it says your bartender will call an Uber or Lyft for you. And if you want yours with a lime, your bartender will call the police and notify the authorities that you are feeling threatened, you need help, and something needs to happen. So it's just something very important to keep in mind when you're out there. And one thing I gotta say is when you go out on dates through Tinder or through, whatever, it's always good to let somebody else know where you are. This is where I'm going to be. This is who I'm with. This is, how long I will be there for. Have somebody accountable for you. If I don't check in after this amount of time, please check in with me. If, you haven't heard from me, because you never know. I mean, you hear all sorts of stories about people getting catfished and how, you're there online. You could be anyone.
Exactly. And I think everybody needs that safe out, that way of being extricated in a fashion so that it doesn't create a scene or that it can be left to the fact that you can get that help. And I think that we're seeing these campaigns in other places, but I'm not really seeing it active here, and I think that it should definitely be something. So until that becomes more active within our, the United States itself or in your community, always try to keep that in mind and share it with the people around you that are utilizing those apps and those dating websites.
If this is something that's important to you, do it yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I agree. I would love to be able to start some type of movement to campaign this.
You kind of already have one.
Yeah.
It's called the Just Be Network.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, and I think too, because women, sometimes you can be just afraid to say something. A lot of women, I personally, if I was out on a blind date, I don't know, I'd feel bad. I mean, I'm just that type of person. I don't know if I could say, you know what, this isn't working, I'm going to go home. I kind of feel like I would want to kind of sit through it because I don't know if I would ask for help. Mm-hmm. And there are other women out there that feel that way too, or would be in that same position as well, or they're not sure what they can do. Mm-hmm. So,
well, and that's another thing too is when you are doing kind of online dating, don't have them come pick you up at the house.
No,
meet someplace public. There's all these little things that you can do. But this kind of rolls us into our next topic of what can you do to be more aware of the type of men that you attract? Can you warn somebody? Like, do you feel like my ex? He's a great guy. Him and I did not work out together, but he's a great guy. And if anybody came to me and said, "Hey, I was thinking about dating your ex,"
Well,
you know, what would you say? And I would say he's a great guy. He's a good guy. He's nice, and he's not, you know, he will treat you right. And we just didn't work out together. But there are some people, like, say I wanted to date, you know, your first ex-husband.
First off, girl code. I'm just kidding.
Well, no, but I mean, like,
I'm
but I
teasing
mean,
you.
no Eskimo sisters?
And I would say, you know, he was not a good person. Stay
Yes.
away.
Yes. I mean, because he was physically abusive and verbally abusive.
Mm-hmm.
But now, for people who were going into a relationship, say, after you, with this gentleman, if you had seen somebody posting on there saying, on Facebook or something, saying, "Oh, I'm in this great relationship with so-and-so," do you feel like you're...
Stepping my boundaries
Yes,
there? Am I
by saying-
overstepping the boundary
by
by saying
"Hey,
something?
by the way...
I don't think so. Granted, could he have changed between that time and now? Sometimes, I mean, but I honestly kind of like, you know, a leopard never changes his spots or whatever it is. I don't feel like, I think that when they are that hardcore, that aggressive, that's a trait that's really hard to ever see go away.
Well, here's kind of the more diplomatic solution to that, because honestly, you never really know how two people are together. Like you said, people can change. It's all about the choices they make and understanding those choices. And just like with my ex, I had to come to a hard conclusion that her and I were very toxic together. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of good times. We made it 12 years. But there was a lot of toxin there. There was a lot of poison. You know, I pretty much excommunicated myself from my community for her. And one particular day, I don't really want to bash her, but I was very depressed. I felt very alienated from everyone. I didn't have anyone to talk to. And she came home from work, and I talked to her and the rest of our family that was there, and I told her how I felt. And I was greeted with, fuck off.
I hate when
But
people
here's-
have that distaste for others. You don't have to like me, we don't have to get along, but you don't have to be a jerk.
But here's the point where I kind of had to come to was I had to learn what I needed in a relationship. And I had kind of made a checklist of myself, the things that I want, the things I'm willing to deal with. You know, and yes, everything's negotiable like any other relationship ever. And that's kind of the biggest thing I've drawn from our community is that everything is negotiable. And all right, in your case with your ex, you see him and another girl together, instead of just approaching her or just approaching him, approach both of them. Say, hey, I'm an ex. We kind of have a bit of history. I just want to double check on you guys. Make sure everything's good.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with going to them together, because then you're not going behind either one's back and you're not going to cause a possible argument one way or the other where he might revert back to old standards because he will feel hurt. Or she'll feel hurt.
And she would be, I mean, I'm assuming she could be very different than I. So, I mean, maybe they do mix better than he and I did. But, you know, I don't have to worry about it. He's dead.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Well, yay. One of the things I think, too, is, you know, obviously one person, you can be with somebody and you guys are toxic for each other. You said it about your ex, you know. The one thing that I think of is in regards to warning someone is unless that person is, you know, aggressively mean or anything where you're in danger, I don't see the reason to even mention. And here's why. I mean, really and truly, if someone, if your significant other's ex came up to you and told you what a piece of shit he was, a lot of exes think that, and that's not
There's
true.
a reason they're
and
exes.
right, exactly. And so, do you even think it's worth it? I mean, I know someone, and you know probably exactly who I'm talking about, who's a total womanizer, manipulator, a liar, and a narcissistic asshole. Okay? And there would be no point in trying to warn anybody.
Well,
I mean, the person that he's currently with, he cheated on. And she knows for sure.
Right.
And is like, well, it was a rough patch. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you know, would you even bother to try to tell someone, like, hey, he's a womanizer, he's a user? Because my automatic thought is, if I try to tell you who this person really is, why the fuck are you going to believe me? I'm their ex-girlfriend, you know?
Right, and that's the other thing.
And this is the part where I can kind of agree with. It's that you have to, those two people have to, or more, and Polly, have to know what they're getting into. They have to approach it and negotiate and understand their relationship and what they've agreed to, what they're willing to deal with, what they're not willing to deal with.
Well, I'm not talking about the relationship. What I'm talking about is, like,
Character.
if, let's say you and I dated. Now you're dating Shay, and I think you're a piece of shit and a womanizer. Am I going to have the balls to go up to Shay and say, I think Geek Daddy's a womanizer and a piece of shit? I'm your ex-girlfriend. What does my opinion mean? Obviously, things didn't work out between us, so we probably don't feel that great about each other.
Right, which is why
know?
you need to approach them as a couple to you. It's like, hey, I have previous experience with him. I just want to check in on you, make sure you guys are good. Because I understand people can change.
If someone walked up to, so let's say, same scenario, you're dating Shay right now, and I walk up and I say, and you guys are together, I just want to check in on you, and Shay, I want you to know Michael is a narcissistic asshole and a total jerk.
Thank you.
Wait, but do you say, I don't know anybody that's going to walk up to a couple and say that. I mean, I will. Like, if we were out in the bar, I'd be like, I hope you know he's a total douche. All right? I have no problem. But is she really going to take you seriously? Or is he going to turn around and say, yeah, she's a bitch. She doesn't like me. I broke her heart. You know, whatever.
See,
Right, and you have to remember what's the
is it
story
even
that's
worth
being told to
talking
the
about? Or
current.
do you just go like, hey, hope you learned your lesson quicker than I learned mine?
But here's the thing, is that you fulfilled your responsibility. You've made your choice to try to see how they're doing, make sure everything is kosher.
So do you feel then it's your responsibility to do that? Or do you feel like if you have the opportunity, it's your responsibility?
If I have the opportunity, I want to talk and get to know them, because at one point I did care about my ex. To be wholly honest, I still love my ex. Wholeheartedly. If she were to come to me, even after all the shit she's put me through,
I would drop kick you if you helped her. I just think you should know. I'm gonna drop kick you like what's that? The baby on South Park.
Kick the baby.
No, kick the baby.
In this particular case, it would kind of depend on the actual amount of help. Okay, but if someone were to come up, if I saw someone that needed help, I would want to help them. That's kind of the person I am. And, you know, it does boil down to exactly what you want to do. Some folks, you know, they just want to let it fly. Some folks, they want to help others. Some folks, they want to do whatever. So it is what it is. You have to make your choice.
Yep, and you have to take into account, are they going to eat? Do they even want your help, or do they want to even listen?
You know, and that's where you come up to them. It's like, hey, I'm his ex. I'd like to talk with you guys, see how everything's going. They're either going to agree or not. And you've, at that point, once again, you've done what you may feel is your responsibility. It's like, cool. I wanted to check on you. They said no. They're cool. Peace.
Peace out.
Right.
Here's how I handled the situation. I think he's a douche, but if you want him, please keep him. And if you ever treat her shitty, I'll cut you. That's how I handled it, everybody.
I think, too, you're going to know right off the bat how it's going to go when you introduce yourself, because they're going to know you're the ex anyway. I mean, you can get a read on people to begin with. So.
I think the scary part is not only like the womanizer and you know, getting women to fall for you and being a total jerk, but we've seen in the past on the page where there have been men that have committed crimes against women, you know, and these women have tried to reach out to people and say, look, you know, he's not a nice man. You know, I don't know if he's gotten help, but this is what he's done and not received it well. And it's, you know, what would you think if someone said, we'll start with you, Electric, and then we'll go in a circle.
Sure.
If someone came to you and said, you know, just so you know, your significant other raped, beat me, whatever, and I just want you to be careful. How would you handle that? What would you do?
I think first I would probably see, well, okay, did you press charges? Is there proof of this? Mm-hmm. Because, you know...
Do your research.
When you are dating somebody, you know, the funny thing is people are like, oh yeah, haha, I'm going to CCAP you, haha. No, do it.
Yeah, fucking do it.
Seriously, do
what
it.
What is a CCAP? I don't know.
A circuit court something. In either case, it shows all of your court cases, everything you've ever been accused of, dropped, etc., that isn't already sealed by the court.
Traffic tickets, accidents, or, you know, but here's the
if
thing.
you ever want to CPAP me, CCAP, whatever, please bring your own paper and about 8 boxes.
Yes.
Especially if you're going to look up traffic violations.
But here's the thing, though. No, it lists everything that this person has done, has been picked up for, tickets.
Okay.
And it will tell you a little bit about this person. And, you know...
And
have you ever done that? I've never done that.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. It stands for us, we have Wisconsin, it's Circuit Court Access. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it allows you to search, you know, Circuit Court records.
And the thing is, it's...
And
you also
I've Googled people before, but I've never...
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, it's you don't want to go behind your partner's back. It's, you know, I want to talk to you about this, and this is what I'm going to do because I'm interested in your past, because if I'm going to be part of your future and part of your current, I need to know your past, too.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, a lot of times, too...
You know, you're not going to shove it in their face.
Yeah.
You're not going to say, what was this speeding ticket back in 1976?
Yeah,
I wasn't born yet. That's the wrong Michael R. White.
Yeah. But this is the thing, too, though. I mean, it's not really so much, I feel like, so that you can throw it in their face about, like, oh, well, you've had this traffic ticket or whatever. But if somebody was to come to me and say, well, he raped me, you know, that for me is one of the things that I'm like, okay, well...
Big red flag.
Yeah, big red flag. Let's see, like, did you report it? Well, how did it happen? You know, is this a case of... A lot of times there can be, like, this confusion. It's still rape, but there's times where people are engaging in sexual actions, and in their mind, they're like, I didn't want it to go this far. But they don't actually say,
stop.
No, stop. And that's kind of the gray area, I feel. Because no one is a mind reader. Nobody can say to you, oh, well, I know exactly what you're thinking, and I know exactly what you're feeling. Because when you're outwardly doing and still engaging in the act, it sends a message that you're okay with this. So people will continue forward. And I don't think I've ever had a partner who, in the middle of sex or whatever, has stopped and said, are you still okay with this? But you and I have never had a sexual encounter. But
I raise my hand for those who aren't in the theater of the mind.
But for those, I feel like, you know, you don't. Those are the gray situations. Was it a clear cut? Stop! Don't do this. I don't want to continue. Get away from me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Was it a yes or no thing?
And really, a lot of times, that is a huge thing for consent. Consent is, you have to have that verbal cue, that no, stop. And
red in our case.
Yes, red in our case. But, you know, it's one of those things that you need to have. And, you know, I know girls who have been with people and have regretted it later. And then they were like, oh, well, I didn't really want to do that. Well, okay.
Did you tell him?
Did you tell him to stop?
No.
No. But I wanted him to.
Congratulations. You should have voiced yourself.
Then you should have voiced. You know, just because you've already started having sex doesn't mean that you can't say no in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And if any man has any respect for you, in the
He'll
middle
stop.
of it, if you were, he will stop.
Well, it's like playing for me. Even in sex, I still keep the same 3 rules: red, yellow, green. All right, green, you're liking it, keep going, because I am going to check in on you. I want to know. You know, to be wholly honest, quality control is one of my kinks. So, yellow, something needs to change. Need to tell me something, whatever. Bathroom break, something, right? Because it's something that happens.
Yeah, and red,
Red?
means stop.
I'll stop. Everything ends. Aftercare.
Okay.
Time to figure out what's going on.
And we'll hit on that in boudoir, but specifically, if someone, so now you answer. If someone specifically came up to you, Geek Daddy, and said, this person, is a criminal or a horrible person or whatever, what would you do with that information? Would you talk to your significant other? Would you, like she said, ask for evidence, or, is there, a criminal record or whatever?
Well,
if it was of danger.
I'm a big communicator, big negotiator. So the more information I have, the more or less happier I am. I'm not necessarily happier, but, I like to know. Because if someone asks me a question, I don't like saying, I don't know. I'm comfortable saying that. Doesn't mean I like it. If someone came up to me and said, my SO was cheated, stole money, whatever, it's be like, cool. Give me some specifics. Give me an example, if possible. How much did they take from you? Were there, what all happened? I want to know. And then I'm going to go to my SO with this information. It's like, hey, I met this person on the street. They told me this about you. And my one expectation that I will bring to every relationship is that I want them to be honest. Now, mind you, I can tolerate a lie. Coming from a sociopath, I kind of like the game every once in a while. A little fib, find out a little bit more information, because there is a certain intimacy in playing that game.
Wait, a little fib, find out more information, I don't understand.
No, well, I kind of like flowers, but I sometimes don't. It's like, what kind of flowers? A bit of an interrogation.
Oh, okay. So roundabout questioning and
right.
okay.
Sometimes I like those, other times I don't, just because I like direct answers, but at the same time I know I need to be worthy of those direct answers.
I don't think there's anything about being worthy of a direct answer. If I ask you a question,
it's my thing. All right, quit yucking on my yum.
Are you a rapist? You know what I mean? You should be able to say yes or no.
But yes, there are certain things. Honesty, 100% needs to be there. If I'm coming to you and say,
well, yeah, but so no, what I'm asking you is, would you go and further talk to this person that's making the accusations, or would you stop talking to them and run back to your SO and say, hey, what's up with this?
I'd get as much information out of that person as possible. I'd thank them for their time and their attention.
And then go back and discuss it.
Yeah. And then I'd go and discuss it with my SO.
All right. Vintage, you're up.
What about...
So the question is, if someone came up to you and accused your significant other of, like a crime, a rape, whatever, being physical violence, different things like that, would you continue to talk to the person? Electric mentioned that she'd want to know, were there any charges pressed? Was this a cut and dry thing?
Would you? I want information.
Yeah. And Geek Daddy said he would talk to the person, get information, and then obviously go back and communicate with the significant other. How would you handle that?
I think I would take the information myself and do my own investigation, and if I find something, definitely approach it. But I think if I didn't find something, I would then say to my significant other at that point, this is a situation, somebody came up to me and said this, and I really need to discuss this with you.
Right.
Okay.
I think that's very important.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing your own research. You got this information.
And you don't have to disclose the information. I mean, that would be me. I don't think I would disclose it till I did my own research first.
Right. But then you're still going to come up to your significant other later and say, hey, this person said this shit about you.
Right. Because if it isn't true, you don't want someone out there saying stuff.
Spreading stuff.
And if it is true, you definitely want to be able to...
be there and support your partner.
Be more understanding of
why did it happen? What was
was
the circumstances? I mean, because one person's ideas of something are going to truly be different for someone else.
Kind of floating back to don't yuck on my yum.
Right. I mean, there can always be that misinterpretation.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they stole money from me. It's like, okay, you gave them a check that you thought you lost, but they cashed it. And?
Right. Okay, well, moving on, we've got to wrap it up, and so we can get on to Bombshell Boudoir. So, kind of last and final thought, we'll start with our guest today. Geek Daddy, what's your final thought or your sign off on your premiere on Beautiful Bombshells?
Hi, ladies. See you next time.
Hey, how you doing? All right, we'll go in clockwise. Vintage.
I think, my final thought, stay safe. Think ahead. Be very clear in what you're looking at. Make wise choices and be informed.
Awesome. All right, for me, I would have to say, obviously, definitely stay safe. But the thing that sticks with me the most is how Michael is going to put on a pastel green lace men's outfit. Thank you all for, being a part of BB and listening to us. Michael, thank you so much for coming in and taping with us today. Miss Electra, Miss Vintage, thanks for your humble abode in Electric. When are you coming home with me?
Couldn't be that soon. Soon.
All right, and Electric, what's your final thought?
My final thought is I find it sad that dating has become such a minefield of
it's a battlefield.
It's there's so many things that you need to watch out for nowadays that it's like, am I going on a date or planning a coup? I'm not really quite sure. But overall, just stay safe, ladies. Make sure that, you have that friend who you contact. And just make sure that you're safe because we want to keep you around. We like you and we don't want anything bad to happen to you. So stay safe. If something does happen, don't be afraid to report it.
Communicate, negotiate.
Communication is key. So
And chocolate.
And chocolate.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And I think as in the final two, as always remember to have a plan of action just in case. Don't take things for granted.
Yep. Agreed.
Absolutely.
But we love you, ladies.
Absolutely love you.
Thank you all for listening, and that's a wrap.